All right, good morning. We have an interesting story coming out of Virginia. Now, when we think of depravity, we're going to discuss it in a new low. Now, in some of my previous videos, I argued symptomatically what happens when we allow homeless shelters and nonprofits to be able to qualify for federal funds. And I warned many of you the game throughout California, why shelters can do a head count, which in turns allows them to inflate the amount they're able to get. So in other words, they control, by virtue of controlling the number of homeless and doing the count, they're allowed to get a lot more money. So it's in their interest really not to house people. But in this very special case in Virginia, in Richmond, we have a director of a program. But before we get started in this video, I want to make a few disclaimers. Number one, I believe as of now, this organization is closed. Number two, I don't hold anybody outside of the person and that director culpable there. So I don't necessarily mean that this homeless shelter and its other staff are fraud. Okay. This is one actor inside of there. Okay. So I don't want anybody sending those people hate mail. Okay. That we're speaking of the director of the program that decided to enrich themselves to a tune of a staggering amount of money. But let's go over that a bit. And but one more thing. I'm going to bring up something for the holidays, guys. Let me show you an example of what happens when you leave your cat at a gas station. Okay. So here I am last night at a gas station, and this little baby got dropped off by what was clearly a drug addict with no shirt on, left on the gas station mat. Animals they're not dollar store toys. You cannot just simply get them for your enjoyment. It is not a Nintendo play system, okay? Now, clearly this cat has lived in somebody's home. And I'm glad that she was dropped off because it allows other people an opportunity to do the proper thing. But I'm just bringing that up because we're going through the holiday season, and depravity is, again, we're reaching new heights with this stuff. Let me get on with the video. Besides this cat that I've got nearly starved to death, dealing with what in my opinion was a meth head. If I can get the video going, so. Let's read off the report here. Eastern District of West Virginia. Richmond woman pleaded guilty yesterday to wire fraud in connection with her operation of a homeless shelter focused on women and babies. Okay, so we're not addressing homeless addicts. We're not addressing homeless junkies. We're talking about females that have newborns. She essentially co-ops with this organization, and she was able to convince HUD to turn over nearly $1 million. Let's take a look at what these funds were used for. So we take a look at the lower part of this article. She inflated invoices. She hired a lunch lady. Now, what she did was she stole $1 million worth of food. So we're not going to feed the babies, the newborns. We're not going to feed the mothers. She decided that it would be most appropriate to steal close to $1 million. And it appears she used the expenses on tattoos, airline tickets, a luxury Caribbean ferry ride in Miami, furniture, and items at an antique store. Okay. So was it really worth that to steal more than $1 million? To starve newborn babies and their mothers, the U.S. government puts you in charge of. I mean, the level, it brings a new level of depravity, regardless of circumstance. So I looked up this organization, and according to what I can see, it's called the Sisters Keeper Homeless Shelter. She was the director, key player, and she's now facing an indictment and potential for 20 years in prison. And as you noticed in our thumbnail, that's the photo you see before you click on the video, I quietly put her some federal prison shower slides, her new slippers she'll be wearing. We spoke exclusively what it means when you don't get Section 8, but you in turn get Section 9, 3 hots and a cot in a federal prison. And I thought we would all could do look at the shower slides, the shoes we're going to be wearing through the federal prison. If I worked there, I'd make sure that bitch didn't have anything to eat. I'd stick her in solitary, and it'd be bread and butter once a day. I mean, I don't understand how we can do this, and she's not the cleverest thing either, because besides having zero morals whatsoever, being unconscionable to newborns and mothers, she completely enriched herself. It was like a party for her. I mean, how do you add that up? What did your mother do to you? What did your father do to you? Where are your morals, your ethics, your standards? I mean, $1 million and didn't feed anybody. So now it's called to collapse this organization. Nobody can get anything. She stole the rest of the funds, now being prosecuted through the state attorney's office and also the feds. And it's going to result probably spending most of her natural life back in prison, because she literally stole the food out of a baby's mouth. And so it goes back to saying, these organizations, these nonprofits and homeless shelters need to be regulated. They're stealing vast amounts of money, and the homeless and the babies and the children and the mothers and people this was intended for never see it, because we have people like Miss Kia Player that's taking cruises, buying jewels, taking luxury cruises, and to no benefit of any homeless person. So, it's bad enough we deal with fraud inside a HUD, then we deal with fraud at Section 8. Now we're dealing with fraud at nonprofits. We're dealing with at the homeless shelters. And so she ran $1 million scam right down the damn street from the president of the United States. I don't know where Richmond is out there, but I'm assuming that the White House is in the same area, and HUD's down the street, and all this got played right under their nose. Okay. And so it's just a sad affair. There's another circumstance I should bring up as well. There's another indictment going out. Remember, just 48 hours ago, we discussed Laisha in Los Angeles. And it turns out they've been sued, about 190 people for terminating vouchers. Now, I warned you guys what would happen when we cut funding and we start approaching 2026 and deal with Section 8 housing and vouchers. And so here are some of the first early examples. This is the second largest housing authority in the state of California, which, in the country, and also in Los Angeles, is now being sued because they're finding ways to terminate people early on. In other words, we're going to kick you out before the funding even gets here. And so we expect that to progress all the way up to district court as well. So, we got a big problem nationwide right now. We've got people stealing everything blind. We've got nonprofits that are stealing money. We've got homeless shelters stealing money, misappropriation, professional misconduct. It isn't just Miss Kia Player. This is a long list of videos I've made about fraud, scams, and having the Fed storm the building, because they're brazen at this point. I mean, literally just $1 million. It took her a year to burn $1 million. Imagine that. So you sit there, you're on a luxury cruise, and you're thinking about how you starved a bunch of newborn babies and mothers. So I don't know what's going to happen for her during sentencing, but I can tell you this: under no circumstance should that woman ever be put in any material position that resides over the care of anybody. I wouldn't trust her with my family or my cat. Speaking of the new addition to our house here, my new Kiki, we haven't even given her a name. She got kicked out too, and probably got kicked out from this Kia Player's house. She doesn't feed babies. She probably wouldn't feed the cat either. But so here we are. I'm baffled. I mean, how does your soul just turn black? Yeah, you're just evil. doing that. And so I had to make this video because I want this lady when she gets out. I know my channel, because I've made over 1,000 videos. I know that my videos will continue to rank very high throughout Google. Google always ranks my videos very quickly within a couple of hours. And so when she gets out and applies at the nursing home to work around the elderly or something like that, they'll always be able to look back on this video. I'll keep it live. That way it's a great reminder she can't run from who she is. I believe in second chances, but honestly, when you steal from babies, there isn't a second chance in my mind. It means really you need to pack your shit and just leave this country. You're no longer in America when you do shit like this. And she's only one of a long list of people that are frauds. Many more have operated, even HUD itself, which stole multi-millions. So she's a small French fry in a bigger plate, but it was what grabbed my attention was stealing from babies, lying to the feds, completely enriching herself. I'm not convinced they provided anything there, and the poor people that donated their time and efforts to this organization didn't even know that they had a con artist in the building. And it makes me question whoever hired her needs to be indicted as well, because it seems that it's rather complicit. How do you hire a director, let her operate, and steal for a year? In a year. So basically, she was spending roughly $100,000 a month. This lady went fucking bananas. 100,000. Look, if I could spend 5,000 a week, I'd be great. This lady was off the charts. I mean, she went from from a regular neighborhood to a mansion in 0 to 60. 100,000 a month. Who needs that kind of money? If I had that kind of money, I'd probably be in a drug rehab by now. Who that you got that kind of money and you're doing this, and you're looking everybody in the face. And look, this bitch had some real nerve. She's still posting stuff. Look, I put on the thumbnail the picture for the video. She wasn't done stealing. She's fixing on the 13th of this month, which was about a week ago. She's ready to have another party and celebration. I don't know what she was serving there. I guess just hot coffee. She stole everything else. I mean, they're gonna have to check the bill, and she probably unscrewed the light bulbs out of there. But that's okay. I mean, after court, they're gonna get a pair. She'll get a pair of complimentary handcuffs, some ruby red slippers to go down to the prison, some shower slides, and to go down as just a horrible person. You take that last breath, lady, you got to think about the shit you done, because I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. I have to answer why you'd starve babies and steal all the money, and you thought that was okay. I mean, somebody did install software in this bitch's soul. Okay, this is just off the charts. So, anyways, now I'm sitting here, and and today I'm actually very calm. I haven't used that many profanities. I could have gone off the deep end in this video, but I've got bigger issues to deal with this cat of mine here, sitting on a chair, snoozing and trying to deal with her. So we fed her a couple times. I fed her 6 times last night, little amounts. She clearly hasn't had food in about a week or so. And she's all skin and bones. So we're leaving this video, and I got to go to the bed and then probably have her IV with, I forget we're going to put an IV in her to stimulate, I forget what you call it. Anybody here can chime in. I'm just kind of out of it because she kept me up most of the night. She slept on my neck. She can just tell she was grateful to be saved, she was extremely grateful. I mean, her per motor was going on my chest. I couldn't sleep. It was like having a little 18-wheeler sleep on your chest, and the motor was going. And I fed her. I had to sleep with a food bowl because since I rescue cats a lot, they have food insecurity for a minimum of 4 days. And then you have to limit that, otherwise they'll gorge. And so we did smaller meals, but there's nothing left to her. This is what happens when you allow a meth addict to own a pet. And then I'm glad in this circumstance, I'm glad that they made probably the best choice to bring her to the gas station and just leave her, because that's the kind of piece of shit they are. They're probably related to that lady here that we're talking about today. But it allowed other people an opportunity to set the record straight and earn the cat's trust again. So we're going to work on her today. She'll be part of our YouTube channel. She doesn't leave my side either, buddy. If I go one room, she's come with me, and she's already learned certain things. She used the cat door today. It came right back in. She went to that yard, did her business, popped right back to the door, and came right back. She will not leave my side. If I go to the bathroom, she goes with me, because she understands that she doesn't know where her next meal's going to come from. So we're working on trust for a couple of days. So that means I'll place food bowls throughout the house and water everywhere. That way she's not completely stuck wherever I am. And then hopefully I will regain her trust, since another human who completely fucking betrayed her. So I hope that bitch ends up in jail too. I'm glad I was in a good mood last night when I picked her up from that gas station, because honestly, what I'd like to do is violate that person's rights and choke the ever fucking life out of them. But I'm getting too old to have a boxing match at a gas station. Though I'm a pretty big guy at almost 300 pounds, I just decided that it would be easier to come back and address the core problem than to take vengeance on another soul, because frankly, that's really what I wanted to do. That's how my mama raised me, in that trailer park, South Louisiana. We handle business, but when you start getting above 50, it's harder to do that. So we're going to do some rehydration with her. We're going to make sure that she can't reproduce, because that'd be the best thing right now. Keep her safe, keep her warm, because she doesn't have a lot of meat in her bones. We'll put her on a high fat diet temporarily, 4 to 5 days, and then we'll start on proteins, and then we'll graduate her. What I like to do is mix a few different types of cat food together. That way, if one fails, you can eat another, because the cat's digestive system's sensitive. So we like to make sure her stomach enzymes can accept a minimum of 3 different types of cat food. So we mix it up. Biggest mistake pet owners do, they usually switch pet foods very quickly, and it causes all kinds of problems in their digestive tract. So I learned early on, using multiple foods from the beginning helped them be able to accept multiple foods without some big horrifying change in their digestive systems and urinary tract. So that being said, my speech about my Kiki here. I hope for the rest of this year, for all of us that are going to celebrate our Thanksgiving, if you see a pet out there that's stranded or struggling, do something about it. Don't just stand there. Do you know there were a lot of people that did nothing? You know, we live in a time and an age where everybody's trying to mind their business too much. Same thing with people. You know, not everybody's got it good. Stop and think. If you can lend a hand, offer it, okay? Because without my assistance with this cat, it may have gone on and just died. It is not a feral cat. It clearly was already, to some small degree, used to be able to eat out of a water bowl and food, whenever the hell that happened. Since meth addicts tend to stay up for about a week, it's probably the reason this cat's in the condition she's in. But she's not the worst case I've ever had. Her coat's still shiny, which means it wasn't too bad. But she has no muscle tone. She has to sleep a lot, because she's literally burning muscle right now. But now when we start feeding her, she'll start to grow again, and it hopefully won't be stunted. I don't think she'll be stunted. I think she's going to do all right. So let me go and get on here. By the way, guys, we have membership in this channel. You like our videos, you like me, you like my humor, you like the subject matter, or you're here because you like the consulting work I or my company do, or even rescue cats. Join the membership, man. It's $1.99. Okay, I'm cheaper than a gallon of gas. And we'll be posting a community page about her. We'll be accepting a few donations. We're not talking about your hard-earned money. Probably get some treats for her, collar, a name tag, get her shots, and those that want to contribute can do so. But ultimately, the cat's my responsibility. Clearly, I can pay for that. But I think it's good to involve other parties. You know, we all need to remind ourselves what it means to care for others and pets. And though I don't really need anybody's help, I think it's good to involve you people, okay, to not do what Kia Player did with that shelter, where You are a complete fraud. You steal from babies and mothers and cause it to close down, collapse the only system of help in that area in order to enrich yourself. That's a problem. You can look at me and see that I don't enrich myself, because if I did, I would be at the plastic surgeon's office getting the rings in my eyes from, from all the work I have to do, and I wouldn't have a chair with claw. Look at all the claw marks in that chair. If you look in the background, that's from the many years of cats. They all at some point have hosted the back end of the chair. It's kind of like their birth spot, and they sleep there, and sometimes they come and visit us in the videos. All right, so I'm going to move on to comments here. Silver Fox, good morning. Non-censors, people, man. Yeah, it's tough. Carolyn Rocky, thank you. Yahweh rules. Same for the crooks up in Minnesota. They are supposed to be feeding underprivileged children and billed for thousands of meals per day, but only serve 36 meals. You know, it's a special place of hell for people to do stuff like this. You know, we don't. You know, we're here on this. We're here on Earth such a short period of time. You know, and the only thing that even ancient people, okay, even the ancient people from 2,000, 3,000 years ago understood that part of our responsibility on this planet is to try to help and treat people with dignity and respect. We as a society are struggling to feed our own babies, to take care of things as simple as a cat. A cat requires cat food, water, and affection. Cheapest thing on the planet. It will remain loyal to you. I'm on this cat now for less than 12 hours. I have her absolute loyalty, absolute unquestionable loyalty, enough so that she sleep on my neck. Okay? That meth addict that threw her out the window at the gas station, okay, that's when you know your soul's gone. You no longer are human. Many of you argue, oh, well, I watched on TV this horrible event where prison guards beat up an inmate. Bunch of soulless fucking people in there. That's why. Okay? Look at this shit here. And 9 o'clock at night, I don't have time to have a boxing match with people, but, I struggle with that drive home because really I just wanted vengeance. The same way I feel about this cat is how I feel about this lady doing what she did. I'm wondering about all these mothers and babies where the husbands and boyfriends left them stranded without a chance in hell with a newborn, and this woman robbed everybody. And it sends a fire that burns inside of me. So the very least I can do for society is publish a video, slap her name on it. And the reason I can do that is because the Eastern District of Virginia and the U.S. Attorney's Office allow me to publish her name because they've done it. It's now a matter of public record. Okay? That way, when she gets out, this follows her. So everybody knows what kind of piece of trash that they are. Okay? You go in there, find Jesus, that's fine. But nobody's trying to trust your ass anymore. Okay? So this is concerning. And here we are on the edge of a holiday, and she had no problem doing this. And I know there's lots of them out there. There are lots of people that are like-minded her where they just don't care. And this is what we all need to worry about. Okay? We don't see what goes on to these nonprofits and shelters where they're victimizing people, and that's been a big concern of mine. That's why in many videos I have asked President Trump, as a businessman that he is, that if he's listening any time to my channel, please reduce the funding, cut out these third parties, because these are the kind of type of scandals we can avoid. So move back down to comments. Muskogee Land, I need to find out who actually owns the apartments in San Francisco. Monarch runs it, but I think it's a private or public corp. Well, first you'd want to is reach out to Secretary of State, find out about their incorporation, and see whether or not they've structured that incorporation and whether or not they're hiding it under LLCs or limited liability companies or limited liability corporations. See whether or not they've set their settings to private, and you can probably figure out who owns it. It depends on how they're doing things. SAB, I live near Richmond. It is the capital, and they do have the best programs in the region. The city receives a lot of money. She made a decent operation look bad. That's my sentiment too. She's a sole. She is the sole person responsible for what happened there. And so again, when we talk about Sisters Keepers homeless shelter and feeding the homeless, housing the homeless women and babies, she's the only person there that's responsible for the fraud. And so I don't want anybody to blame that organization, though there might be some culpability in hiring a director and not reviewing financial records. I have some concerns about that. But we should not blame the organization specifically, but a single actor that literally defrauded the U.S. government, lied under indictment, and now is going to spend the better portion of her life behind bars, because I can't imagine any judge is going to want to give somebody a short-term prison sentence when your absolute goal is to enrich while starving newborn babies. So moving up from there, baby doll Kincaid. Good morning. Glad to have you, Miss Kincaid. You're becoming a regular at my bar stools. We're always glad to have you. Linda Matthews, her appetite, yeah. Rehydration, and thank you. That was the word I was hunting for the Kiki back here. She's been sleeping a lot. The more you feed her, the more calories she takes in. And so the cat, as you can see in the back of my chair, she's going to be unconscious probably most of the day. Her body's processing food for the first time, probably in a week or two. So she's getting through it. We're going to make a little trip, and she's already car trained. She had no objection to riding in my truck. I think that she was just glad to get the hell out of that gas station, and just wondering if how old was going to end. A lot like seniors feel when they get really old and are homeless and on the street. They're wondering if it's all just going to end and they're going to die alone. It's going to be a horrifying feeling for this little cat that didn't do a fucking thing to anybody. Left starved, then dropped off like trash at a gas station. And then systematically, I watched hundreds, basically 30, 40 people just not even give a shit. And I'm just thinking, you could have even if you were going to take the cat, could you pet it? Could you bring it food? There's food in the gas station right there, right? So nobody does anything. It's not my problem. I'm worried about the center of my world, my self-centered world. I'm not going to do shit for anybody. So, welcome to where I live, and welcome to America, where we just worry about ourselves. We're all just very focused on the center of ourselves. We let people die on the street. Starve animals, all kinds of crazy shit. It's not everybody, but some. So it's worrying for me. And here we are around the holidays. Supposed to be the giving season, but clearly that's not happening, is it? So moving on from there, baby doll Kincaid. Oh, Jay, thank you for being in the right place. I've been thinking about a cat. I have to be honest. I've been thinking about a cat. We lost TT, which was when my mother passed in January. She had a cat, and she was young like her. She passed away about 2 weeks ago. I never brought it up in the channel, but I've been thinking about bringing a new addition in the house. And I, for some bizarre reason, had an inkling to go to the gas station because I wanted a snack. Okay, I'm a big person. I wanted a damn snack. I don't ever really go at 9 o'clock at night, but for some reason, I was just kind of pushing myself out the door. And I went and got my snack, and there was Kiki. There she was, literally in an extremely busy gas station, dead center on the mat, rolled up. And then I watched all these people pass the cat and didn't do shit about it. Pick up the cat, put her on my shoulder, and then I asked the people in the store, is this a gas station cat? Is anybody caring for her? Oh, no, we don't know nothing about that. Okay. So, you know what happened after that, right? I put her in my taxi, and then, well, she stayed the night. She's moved in the hotel here with me. And I think that, she's going to do all right. She's certainly one of my better cases. And I'm glad I was able to help her. She certainly seems to appreciate it. and we're looking forward to seeing what kind of personality she has. I'm hoping tonight that she does some good rest because I can't do another night of her sleeping on my neck and the motor going all night because it makes me extremely tired. That's why I'm so calm today. I'm unrested, and so I can't be as crazy as I normally am because I'm kind of half rested. But anyways, Yahweh, let's see here. Yahweh goes, God Almighty, Yahweh, bless you and your kind heart. I'm trying. I'm not a perfect example of a human. I have a big heart, but I'm just as low down and just as up as anybody else. I take no credit as being a perfect person. Muskogee Lynn, people like you are trying to build a community for people in a situation. If you could just save 10 people in a project. One thing that I tried to do during the pandemic when landlords were putting everybody out, I was working 18-hour days trying to prevent a massive wave of homeless people. It almost cost me my life because those 18 hours caused extreme blood pressure and other issues, okay? It caused a lot of damage to me. Trying to work 90 hours a week, extended periods, but it was worth it to me. I'd rather die trying. So, moving on from there, Silver Fox, you said something, brother, but YouTube didn't like whatever you said. They retracted it. YouTube 1970, so sad. It is. Silver Fox, Jay, I'm terrified of the spiders will make a new door in the house. Glad you. Let me tell you all about Texas spiders, man. You want to get a good story? I move a cabinet. At the bottom of this cabinet, there's a hole. Okay. Now I move it from the other place to the new place. I'm in my kitchen, and out rolls the biggest fucking spider you've ever seen in your life. This thing is tarantula size. It's one of them big Texas ones. Big hairy legs, fucker. Look, I was doing the rain dance, square dance, everything in the kitchen. I didn't know what to do. Even my cats, those lazy damn cats, waddling around the house, didn't do shit about that. I was very upset about that. I hired them to do a job, but when it came to the spider, they felt the same way I did. They cocked the eyeball and it's like, hey, fuck that. I'm not getting that spider. And so old Spidey just rolled through the kitchen. I didn't want to kill the spider. It took a lot. I don't like killing things, but God. So I had to call my neighbor, and I was like, look, I've got Daddy Longlegs in here. He's a big tarantula spider. He's on the floor. Even the cats won't kill it. Can you come and get him? So we got him out in the yard because I can do a lot of things. Look, you could throw snakes in my hair and my blood pressure wouldn't change. You pop a spider on me and look, it's going down. I'm lucky I was held myself together for that. I'm hoping Yukiki, once we get her up and going good, I hope she's a spider killer because look, we can't do no 6-inch spiders, man. I just can't handle that. You wake up, you get some coffee, next thing you know, you got a 6-inch spider in your hair. I can't do that. I'll trick out my own kitchen, okay? I just can't handle that. So moving on from there, Yahweh rules. Homeless shelters are sketchy. I read comments that they try to prevent. Let me tell you something. If you go out and talk to most people that are on the street that are homeless, that are not on alcohol and drugs, the first thing they're going to tell you about a homeless shelter is it's more dangerous than being on the street. People in there steal, rob, lie. A lot of them are using drugs. They're also very dangerous. And the ones that are previous convicts end up finding ways to indenture the other homeless. In other words, the people that won't have shit to do with a crack pipe, a meth pipe, and stuff like that, they will end up stealing and robbing or defrauding all the homeless that are just simply homeless and don't want to be involved. And so a lot of what you see 50-50 on the streets is the ones that are not at the light are just trying to get back off the street. They don't want to get involved in drugs and nonsense. The other half are trying to rob them. Okay, I've spoken to a lot of homeless people across all 50 states. In total, through my career, I think that I've helped house around 8,000 to 9,000, either by them contacting my office or their family or the court system, or in some cases, I had homeless people that didn't even need to be homeless. Literally, attorneys contacted my office to tell me that these people, their parents had passed, left them a vast fortune, and they've been living on the street for no good reason for 8, 9 years. And so we had to go hunt them down. By the way, man, you're really not homeless. You've got about $1 million in property, money, and assets, and you've been sitting on the street for 9 years for no reason. But what's more profound about that was the fact that we paid out millions, 20 million, 30, 40, 50 million to a homeless shelter that doesn't do a damn thing. Okay. So I had to step in and do the homeless shelter job. I had one nonprofit that was collecting roughly $15 million a year. You know what they did? They contacted my office and wanted to pay my office, dump their entire caseload on my office, because the only thing they wanted to do was cash a check. They didn't actually want to help anybody. And then they wanted to give me a small percentage of the big hole they got to help get rid of the trash. They didn't want the trash in their office. This is a nonprofit for you. You know, Our Lady of Mercy. I told you, a lot of these organizations, just because they put religion in the front door and crosses and Bibles, don't mean they're religious. Okay. There are lots of organizations. You walk in there, the only thing they're doing is serving the devil. There are some operations that really are religious and they're ethical and serving God, but a lot of this shit, man, look, God left a long time ago. Those people are lighting up satanic candles. They're not serving anybody but themselves. You know that because when you see a homeless shelter and its directors driving a Benz, you know exactly where shit is, okay? You know exactly. You got the homeless population eating donated food because they won't even spend any money on fresh food. That is the vast majority of what the health shelter system is in this country. You guys give out all your nice clothes and things. They go sell all that stuff, line their pockets, and they give all those ripped and torn clothes to the homeless. It's bad. It's super bad. And therefore, I wish that this president would consider defunding all that shit. Okay. And redo the system where we're not allowing nonprofits to handle this anymore, because nonprofits have turned into profit. It's literally just a scam to me. I've seen it firsthand, and I'm concerned about it. I'm concerned that materially everything being donated and given, less than 1% reaches these people. Why would you want to victimize people that already have nothing, that are pleading or only an inch from the street, and then you enrich yourself by stealing everything that's good out the building, steal all the donations, rip everybody off, and the only thing you're willing to give is the rags and donated food, and then report back to HUD and suggest that you have performed fucking miracles. So there's more than just key a player in Richmond, Virginia committing fraud. I would estimate over 80% of these shelters and nonprofits that serve the homeless as being frauds, or at least one or two actors per building. Soulless people, black as night. Soul is black as night doing that. And so I worry about that. I think about those things as we roll in these holidays. The only thing we're doing for Thanksgiving around here is we're cooking a chicken, feeding the cats. You know, now I'm scared to go to the gas station because, I'm worried more animals are going to show up, and it worries me because I don't have any control over myself at times. So I clearly have a mental health problem with trying to rescue animals that are being starved or abused. That is my default setting. I clearly have a mental disability with this, but I think that it's perfectly healthy to be crazy this way. If you can do it, do it. So I encourage you guys, if you see somebody or an animal in need, do more than just mind your own business. Consider doing more. If you see people committing fraud at shelters and things, speak up, man. Take it to the Attorney General's office, take it to the police, take it to HUD. Don't allow them to continue to do that. If you're working in an organization or nonprofit and you suspect that your leadership is robbing everything and stealing, blow the whistle, get out of the building, and cooperate with the FBI. Don't ruin your life. Don't be complicit. Throw the bitch under the bus, okay? Don't ruin your life with this. You don't have to play alone just because of your supervisor. I'm putting that message out for every homeless shelter and every nonprofit. If you know that they're stealing everything, you know they're committing fraud, blow the whistle, walk away a better person, or you'll do 20 with some orange shower slides, and it won't be favorable to you. Please, I encourage those of you out there, you have some of the greatest responsibility over human beings and animals. Have some ethic, man. Stop the scam. So I'm going to go and do these final comments. And YouTube 1970, people with abuse and neglect children and animals are monsters. There's a lot of them. And unfortunately, I spend a vast portion of the money that I make in trying to deal with animals and cats and trying to rescue them. The other half is spent on people. But, I've been in this, I'm up for retirement for January 1st, and I can't fix all the world's problems. I tell you guys, chip in, do so. Claire Wise. Good morning, all. Good morning. We got a lot of comments. It's going to take me a minute to get through them, guys. So I appreciate all you guys joining. Oh. Okay, Sab, it's interesting to know people who rescue cats start to see cats everywhere. Yeah, I have that problem. One thing I can't do is I can't walk through Petco or PetSmart because they have a cat box section filled with cats. And, it's like crack cocaine for me. I start to tremble in the store, and then I'm trying desperately not. I'm even when I walk in the door, hey man, where are the cats located in the store? Because I don't want to shop on that fucking side of the store right now. Because I'm gonna end up with 15 cat carriers and then leaving out of there because I worry. I worry so much about people and animals. The pandemic proved that. Everybody got bored. So rather than buy a new Nintendo or a Sega or whatever the shit is these days, a PlayStation, people went and got pets. And the minute they no longer locked in, they decided their dollar store cat was no longer a benefit to them. So they just kick them the fuck out. Now, once you do that, you domesticate a cat and you've taught it about a food bowl and a water bowl, and you kick them out. You're just trying to kill them. That's how I ended up with our Siamese. She finally passed away. If I hadn't taken that Siamese that passed away, Pretty Mama, that you all saw pictures of, she ultimately died of cancer. So could you imagine that? A piece of trash owned her, would have never treated that cancer. She would have died in absolute pain. Because a piece of trash that has no respect for life or animals could have remained owning her, they wouldn't have spent $1, and she would have died the most gruesome death. So, of course, I'm extremely grateful that it ended up being me. In the end, her cancer grew to a spot that was nearly the size of a baseball. And the vet goes, "Would you like us to keep her comfortable?" I said, "No, I want to deliver her to her maker. This isn't for my benefit. We cannot heal this. There's no quality of life. And she's in a lot of pain. Why the fuck would I want to serve my own self-interest and selflessness with this? She needs to go meet her maker." Okay? She's lived her best life, and I'm not going to keep her alive just so I feel better. That's the most absurd thing. And so I said my goodbyes to her. It was extremely hard, but I also knew that I wasn't going to have to watch her go through extraordinary pain and then wonder why that cat sit there and wonder why I couldn't do nothing for her, but I'd leave her that way and just dose her up with pain pills. We have a hard time as Americans thinking about death and knowing when to end it. I tell you, any good policy for any of your pet owners, if you have a problem and the whole problem cannot be healed, if rule number one, that. Rule number two, if they have no quality of life, struggling to get around, struggling to be able to take care of themselves, no quality of life, that's the second rule of three. Third, is that animal in pain? Forget about the fact that you can treat it with pain pills. Is it in pain, and will it remain in pain? With pain pills. if you can say yes to all three of those things, then it's time for you to let go and let the person above us take that on. Otherwise, you're serving your own self-interest, just like Miss Kia Player for that shelter. She lost her soul somewhere along the route and decided that money, she was going to serve money. And she stole from the most vulnerable people that you can possibly steal from in a community of people that were already struggling out there. And she tried to live this delusional life. And now she's going to pay with her life and carry a reputation. But more concerning for me is she lost her soul through all of that. I hope she finds it again. Okay. So moving on from there, interesting how people can rescue cats. Thank you. Mark Hill, you're a good man. Look, I'm just the way my mother raised me, okay? And for as good as I am, I've been bad too. I mean, my life has not been perfect. None of us are. I deserve nothing. If anything, you know, we have to think about that last when we take our last breath, right? Yahweh, you have a good heart. Well, thank you. Would be two. Spiders are crazy. So, to share a bit more, since we're having story hour, I'll tell you how I became fearful of spiders. When I was a little boy, my mom used to take me up to my dad's job. My dad's quadriplegic; he has no use of his arms and legs, and he's passed away, of course, now. But we used to take me and him. A big thing for me and him was he would go in his wheelchair during lunch breaks, and I'd go and visit him up there, and we would wheelchair through the city, part of downtown, and everybody knew my dad. He worked for DODT. And so one day, when I was really young, I ran between two giant azalea bushes, big bushes. And like 6-year-old, I wasn't paying attention. And what happened was a 8-foot spider web was between those two azaleas, and it saran wrapped a web with in the center on my face a about 6 to 8 inch banana spider on my face. So saran wrapped your face. From then on, I was scarred. I remember my mother took me to the 1984 World's Fair, and they brought me in the haunted house. Well, there was a glow in the dark spider painted on the floor. You never heard a child scream so loud. I completely tricked out. I mean, at that moment, I'd reached level 2 schizophrenia. Okay, you can get me out of there. I've been like that all my life. These days, I understand the spiders aren't that dangerous, but I just don't like. It's literally in my head. So I think we all have stories like that, right? Rapino banning, those spiders are harmless, of course, but I didn't know that at the time, and frankly, I'm not going to make friends with a 6-inch spider. Okay, if you want to take a bath, a bubble bath, and throw a spider in your head, go ahead, brother, do it. It's not for me, and I'm disappointed in my cats. I thought we had an understanding. I give y'all everything you want. These cats, 5 different treats, 3 different kinds of cat food, excellent medical care, and in return, you kill the fucking spider, please. That's my only wish list. Okay, for Santa Claus and my cats. Get rid of the spiders, keep them out the house. Okay, the big ones, the little ones don't bother me. Moving on from there, Linda Matthews. Oh my God, Yahweh rules. Sad. That's what would have met his end in my house, Yahweh. Linda, so you're talking amongst yourself, just a big old grass spider, probably. I don't know. It looked like a wolf spider to me. Rapino banning, the spider would have been picked up and set outside my home. Well, ultimately, the spider did end up outside. I didn't kill it, okay? I know there's a lot of spider huggers in the channel, and you believe in life like I do. So the spider was taken by my neighbor out the house. So I didn't just whack it with a broom. But hey, look, it's fair game. Cats are cats, right? I'm not going to stop a cat from killing a squirrel. That's just that's nature at play. If the cat gets it before my neighbor does, then tough shit, I'm not going to stop the course of nature, Mother Nature himself, a cat to a spider. But I was disappointed. My security guards did not take care of business, so apparently I fed my cats too much. Rufino, nobody lives on the streets for 8-9 years without using rugs. Well, I mean, there's that potential. I don't know. I'm not quite sure why you're announcing that particular part. I don't understand the correlation of suddenly announcing people living on the street. 8-9 years not having a rug. I don't get how that parcels into this conversation, but thank you. SAB, homeless shelters impede any progress. Residents try to make restrictive curfews. Well, you have to, because if you don't, then there are a portion of every homeless population that will do things that aren't conductive with running a shelter. Okay, you can't have people just out 3 o'clock in the morning behind the building, because you know what happens back there, right? They're not praying. They're not having prayer circles. Rufino banning 223 alcohol and rugs is a major. Rugs is a majority of homeless vices. Man, you got something going on with them rugs, man. Are you meaning to say something else? Preppy Princess, thank you for the 9.99. That will be Kiki's collar. So you just purchased her collar. We're going to go to Petco. We're going to stay on the right side of the store, away from all the cats in the boxes on display. And we're going to go get a new cat collar, okay? So I appreciate that. Or we might put it towards her spraying, neutering, and all the shots that she needs, along with getting her hydrated. So most cats, you can inject them with fluids, IV fluids, bubble of it, and it'll set them back on right. You'll know, because the cat's spirits will lift. She won't be dead like this on the back of the chair. Once she gets those IV fluids, she'll be popping. The reason I'm not there right now is there's no appointments. So I'm on task to get a call here shortly. And it's like a small town. That's it. That's it. We can't, there's no other way to do this. I'm lucky to even see a vet at all today. But we're going to go see her. And I thank you, Preppy Princess, for the donation there. Guys, anytime you want to donate through membership or even through our live chats with the cats, I appreciate it. So moving on from there, Yahweh 100%. Mr. Benning, a lot of them are. Let's see. Goodness, there's a lot of comments. Lisa Flamingo, I like that name. I was scared of the spider till I got plants. You even put a spider in the live chat. Yeah, that's a creepy looking spider. My skin's already starting to crawl. Held the Beth. It says $4.99 to become a minter. I'd rather send that money even every month through PayPal or something. I might check out. I don't know why it says $4.99. I set it at $1.99. So maybe I'll set up a GoFundMe today for those that are interested. Okay. I don't mind showing you guys the bill from Amazon for the cat food or the vet bills and being accountable. I mean, clearly I run a company, section8consulting.com, so I don't mind doing that. So maybe we'll set that up, or PayPal, as she said. I just want to make sure that we're doing this properly. So at the end of the year, when the government asks me what I'm doing with other people's money, that we can appropriate that appropriately through my CPA. So I'll see what I can set up and put it on our community page if you want to visit that. Those of you that are pet lovers and want to get involved. And again, this is a way just simply to enjoy the channel, okay? Clearly, I can take care of my own pets. It's just making you guys part of the deal, if you wish to be, okay? So nobody should feel obligated. I'm not here to solicit anything or even donations, okay? Just suggested we have membership. If you do it otherwise, then we certainly appreciate it. Moving on from there, Silverfox. No, a spider is dead if it's in my house. So the sentiments shared quite a bit when it comes to spiders. The poor cat looks like she's exhausted. Well, imagine being owned by a meth head that doesn't sleep for a week, that has no money, and then being dropped to having your weight just drop because you never have food and water. And then you're thrown out of a car window into a gas station. I didn't mention that, did I? She was thrown at roughly 45 miles an hour out that man's car. Do you understand now why I went and got her? This wasn't just a Kiki sitting on a mat. She was thrown out violently out of a window. So, we're talking about the character and moral of extremely evil people. We've lost all sense of reality, and they're just evil. She managed to survive that because she's a cat, thank God. There's no broken bones. I felt around her. But her soul's exhausted because she's been starved to death and thrown out of a fucking car at 45 or 35 or 45. It's hard to tell at 9 o'clock at night. violently thrown out of a window by a drug addict. And I know it's a drug addict because it was tattooed from head to toe and acting weird because they were previously at that gas station. So now you understand. This was on exit. Thank God this man does not have a baby. It might get launched in the forest. Now you understand why I previously in this video earlier, why I considered chasing that person down and assaulting them. Why it ran through my mind. But this is when I'm laying in bed last night trying to digest till 3 a.m. At what point do we reach where we uninstall our soul and do stuff like this on the cusp of holidays, if anything else? So yeah, she has no weight. She's like carrying a empty can of beans, you see, and she's been fed about 6 times. We had to do many meals. I don't want her to vomit and no water, and thrown violently out of a car into a ditch, basically. And I had to rescue her, and I did. Okay. What I'm planning on doing is going back to the gas station and bringing the Harris County Police down there after we deal with her, pull the camera footage, get his license plate, and then have his ass charged with a felony. And I'll use my own personal money to see it through that courtroom. In other words, I don't want any fucking plea deals for this man. You know, even if I have to hire my own attorney to continue to push the district attorney's office to do something. So that's this week's goal while I'm dealing with casework, is trying to figure out who the individual is, subpoena the records for those cameras at the gas station, presenting that, hand delivering it to the district attorney's office in Harris County, and then seeing we can get this guy a bench warrant and then arrested, and then I'm on his ass in a cage. Had he simply dropped the cat off, we wouldn't have an issue. But see, you understand now why I'm so upset. This isn't the casual rescue where the kitten is rolling around the parking lot. Somebody dropped it off safely. That's not what happened. Okay? This is why I felt most appropriate to talk about 2 topics in this video. You know, because both people are soulless. We've got one that's trying to starve babies and mothers, and we've got another throwing kittens out the window at 45 miles an hour while jacked up on drugs. You look in a person's eye and they have no soul left, and then leave me to pick up the pieces, which I want to. Okay? So yeah, the cat looked like it's fucking dead because it's tired. It's probably relieved. We managed to get food and water in her, but I mean, it's not enough at this point. And as soon as this phone rings in here, I'm taking her to the vet for an emergency visit so we can make sure she's all right. And the mere fact that she comes sleep on my chest and purr all night means that she knows she's no longer owned by a fucking junkie piece of trash that I hope expires in prison. But that's probably what's not going to happen. The judge will probably let him off light and he'll do it again. But she don't have to worry about shit no more. She'll be with me. And I bet, let me tell you something. Put your hands on my cat, it's going to be some real big problems for you. You know, I always tell my neighbor, don't ever try to mete out any justice from my animals. If you do, then we both going to die. All right, moving on from there. There she is. She's stretching her bones now. Part of the problem is the kill shelters. Yeah, I know. Look, I think about those things in these shelters and kill shelters and stuff like that, but it's hard. I can't save them all, man. It's just the way the world works, you know. Lisa Fleming Virgo, that's my name too. By the way, guys, for those of you that have that are around and you go into our actual YouTube channel, we have a community page. It kind of reminds you of Facebook. You can post a photo along with some text. We'll be looking for names for her. So those of you that are good at naming kittens and cats, we'll run a little contest and get her named, okay? We don't want her to be the cat out the cat door from the meth head, okay? I don't want to name my cat the victim of the meth head. So for those that want to contribute to that, subscribe to the channel only because it'll bring you back to it when we do that. And I'm going to try to post about that later today. and we'll have a naming contest for her. And I'll update you guys later today what about things. Her condition, she's gonna make it. I'll make damn sure of that. Okay, even if I gotta spend $500,000. So I think that she's gonna be okay. Just think that her soul's tired. I think that she's extremely underweight, and she may possibly be still injured. It's hard to tell with cats, but we'll get through it. And by Christmas, you'll see a little butterball up there. All right. Lisa, glad she has you. Thank you. I feel the same. Brenda, I'm not bragging, but Extend Me took a couple over 2 years ago, and they would not have had anywhere to go. Well, no, that's a wonderful thing that you presented your soul to the American public, and you did a wonderful thing. Okay? As long as you're doing this and don't want anything in return, I never ask anything of my cats. I do it because I love them, even when I don't know them. The same way I do it when I get elderly people contact my office and say, Jay, I'm sleeping in the car because they put me out my house. I help these people sometimes up 2-3 years. Okay? Somebody's going to do something. You know? Lisa Robinson, may the Lord bless you. Well, thank you. Look, guys, don't think so highly of me, okay? I'm like the other as a human. I make mistakes. I've even yelled at my cats a few times for taking a doo-doo on the floor. We're all human. But what I don't engage in is soulless activity. And when I see something that's hurt, injured, and things like that, I stop. I make it my fucking business. Because that's the way my mother raised me. And so there she is. Moving on there, Benton, poor little cat. Well, she's poor now, but she'll be rich in soul. Trust me. I'm telling you guys, give me a couple weeks with her. You'll see a fat, happy cat. Okay. She'll be all right. Don't worry about her. I got this. Trust me. I've saved over 60 cats. Many have gone on to live really good lives. Many of them are overweight as well. My bet goes, you save them just to butter them up. It's like a turkey with no tail. So you can bet by Christmas you'll see some new pictures of her. It'll be a whole different cat, and she won't be asleep and lethargic like this. I love her so much. Well, thank you. You come to our cat naming contest. Lisa Bingavinjo, Virgo. I'm going to, but my pick is Princess or Meow. Hey, I like that Meow name. That's pretty cool. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for entertaining the video for the purposes of talking about the perils of the shelters and nonprofits taking advantage of babies and mothers. And then, as I always do in many of my videos, the injection of my personal life, putting my business in the street, talking about our Kiki and a wild ride we had at 9 o'clock at night. It seemed like something you'd read in a novel, the meth head, the car, and flying cat, right? Kind of like a Harry Potter novel, but written by the devil. Well, he won't be doing nothing to this cat. And that is the end of that, and the cat's going to be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to head out to the vet. We'll post some information about it later today. If you guys want, subscribe, and you can come back and visit our community page for that purpose. If you become a member of the channel for $1 or $2, you can watch our other videos. I talk about a lot of things, and I can be quite funny. I'm very genuine, and I don't generally sugarcoat anything, so you may struggle with my profanities occasionally, but other than that, I think I've got a pretty good soul. All right, guys, I've enjoyed talking with you. Please enjoy your afternoon. I'm going to be on a little bit later today after we get on back from the vet. We'll do an afternoon video on something that's a little bit more lighthearted. Okay, thank you, and have a great day.